Live. Hip Hop Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip Hop Uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. On God driving, Sam and riding passenger side. And you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Go gang.
That's all we can do.
And I see an interview that you did some time ago. You pretty much talked about the fact that, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, that Big Pun is responsible for Fat Joe's career. And you also said that he was at one point writing rhymes for him. Is there any, yeah.
He did. He wrote a lot of rhymes. He wrote the Don Carter Jr., the Jealous One's Envy. Like, he always wrote for Joe. We used to joke around in the house because he would sit there and spit rhymes to me. At one point, he's writing. One of Joe's writing, he's like, yo, hey, I can't make this shit hotter than mine. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Kanye was incredible. If you really think about it, he was writing Joe's rhymes, he was writing his shit, and he was doing collaborations with a whole bunch of people. So, he paid his due. You know what I'm saying? He did what he did, and he didn't get paid for that. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get any credit. When Joe got the $10 million for Atlantic, he didn't get anything out for it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. Joe was saying, I heard an interview that he was saying that he was spending all this money and popping, and that's how he spent. He wasn't spending that money on us. He wasn't spending that money on Pun. He wasn't sitting there taking $50,000 a day and coming and hanging out with Pun and popping bottles. That wasn't happening. So I don't know who he was doing that with, but for Atlantic, when Pun signed the Atlantic deal for Terror Squad, because Pun is a solo artist, and he signed the Atlantic deal to work with Terror Squad, the group with Atlantic. They gave him $15,000, and Pun was so upset and he ripped it up, and he refused to support the Atlantic album, the Terror Squad album on Atlantic. That's why he's not really in a lot of songs. He didn't tour on it. He didn't want to do any shows. I remember him doing one show on BET, and he only went because it was BET, because he loved BET. But other than that, like, he felt, he felt unappreciated. You know what I'm saying? He was putting a lot of work, and he wasn't getting the respect due, and that's when he came and he wanted to create his own record label, which was Foundation Records. That's when he started doing the Foundation Records, and he found Remy, and he wanted to sign Tony Sunshine. You know what I'm saying? But he shortly died after that. He didn't really get to live out his dreams.
Mr. Rosario, let me ask you this, because we hear a lot of stories about artists that obviously have signed these terrible contracts, not really understanding what's in the paperwork and things like that. And you hear a lot that you chalk it up to the game. I've been in the music industry. I've signed terrible contracts. I've even said chalk it up to the game. From a lawyer's perspective, is it that simple just to chalk it up to the game? Is there anything that these artists can do? And in Big Pun situation, is it a situation where we're looking at the contract and trying to fight the way out of a bad situation that he wrote himself into, or did the Terror Squad and Atlantic breach contract agreements, and that's the money you got to see?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, so on the record side, which is the Terror Squad, Sony, Loud, or Terror Squad Atlantic situation, I mean, those are pretty standard recording contracts that they have. I mean, even so there's a real problem with the structure of recording contracts, because like I was saying before, they're set up like sharecropping agreements, because the record labels charge all the money back to just the artist side of the royalty, just like in a sharecropping situation, and keep piling on with each new album they give you in advance, and that just piles on to your unrecouped balance. So that's always an issue, and that's an industry issue. That's a structural issue in the industry. Right. But what I always say to, I teach, and what I say to my students and what I say to my clients a lot of time is watch the Ray Charles movie, right? And you'll notice in that movie that towards the end of the movie, Ray Charles, Atlantic wanted to re-sign him. And he told Ahmet Ertegun, the famous executive from Atlantic, one of the founders of Atlantic, who gave Aretha Franklin her deal, and who gave Cher and a bunch of other big, well-known artists their deals, that, you have to ask for ownership of your masters. Like, you're never going to get anything if you don't ask for it, right? So he told them, if you want me to re-sign with Atlantic, I got to own my masters. And they said no. So he went, I think, and signed with Sony instead, who gave him ownership of his masters, right? So it's important. So when you're a young new artist and you're first signing a deal, if you're signing a deal with a local label or with someone who's a friend of yours, you certainly should not be signing a traditional recording contract. You should be signing something that's more like a joint venture agreement or a partnership, so that you don't end up in a situation where you have multiple layers of other entities over you who are collecting your money before the money can get to you, right? And then we need to change this fundamental structure, which is something that can happen with these terminations. And that's why this Copyright Act, Section 203 of the Copyright Act and Section 304 are so important to artists changing the structure of their deals, even the bad deals that were signed historically, right? For new artists, you've got to start from the beginning asking for ownership. And asking for more of a traditional business relationship where once the record starts to earn a profit, everybody starts to share the money, because that's the way people on Wall Street work, right? That's how the situation works. You raise money or you get money to do a project, and once you end up in the black, everybody starts to share the money. Well, it shouldn't be any different in the music industry, right? Artists are contributing the equity of their talent and their work, and the record labels are bringing money and expertise for marketing and distribution. And the balance in that has to be that that's a co-equal relationship. And artists don't necessarily have to get 50% of all the profits. Even if they were just to get 13%, their standard royalty rate, they would not be in unrecouped situations 30 years after their records came out.
Right.
And to get this clear, I don't have any issue. I never had an issue with the contracts that he signed per se.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, my
I
problem
don't know
was
where that came from. Nori just thought that up on his own.
He never seen no paperwork. Even if he did, I never even questioned or even said, "Oh, the contract." That wasn't even my situation. When Pun signed the Jellybean deal, supposedly Jellybean paid more money to deal directly with Pun and not go through Joe. But then Pun turned around, so it was 50 Jellybean and 50 Joe on Pun. And then Pun turned around, being the loyal dude he is, and the 50% that he had for publishing, he came and did a co-pub deal with Joe and giving him and there was no letter of direction of Pun getting paid directly. It would all go through Joe. So at the end of the day, whatever monies were coming in, Joe gets whatever money and he's supposed to pay Pun. But that was the issue. It wasn't no money coming back. Pun, Pun would get paid. You know what I'm saying, when he was, alive, and he was asked about his royalties, and he was asked about his royalties on the Sony, on the music side, because he would get publishing money. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew when the last deal they got for publishing was $1.6 million, and I remember Joe came and gave Pun the $800,000, but then he was always asking about his royalty checks on the Sony side. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like, "Am I cool?" Like, what's good? He already double platinum. Like, what's going on? So he never got any money from there, but. The point was, the problem was that after Pun died, whatever monies that supposed to be paid to Pun out, that completely stopped.